It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to our 25th Annual Women's Summit. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Please join me welcoming Dr. Betty Uribe, Executive Vice President of California Bank and Trust.
On the room.
Thank you, great seeing you. Good luck. Hi, everyone. If I were to ask you right now, what are your top 5 core values? Would you be able to tell me what they are? Do you actually know them? Do you live by them? Do you breathe by them? Do you make decisions based on your values? Your personal decisions, what about your love decisions? Or your business decisions? But do you play by them? I know my personal core values are the secret to my personal life, my success in my personal and my business life. My core values are God, family, education, health, and community, in that order. I was 12 years old in Bogota, Colombia, when my mother gathered my 3 brothers and I, and she said, "I'm leaving the country. Your father's a great provider, but I can no longer withstand his abuse and his alcoholism, so I'm leaving." I looked at her and I thought, wow, you have a decision to make. You can stay here and you will never need anything. My dad was a millionaire. Or you can come with me and you can go into an area where we don't know, but you'll have peace. So I chose to come to America. And in an airplane ride, I went from being a wealthy little girl with maids and party dresses to a poor little girl wearing secondhand clothes, cooking and making a lot of burnt food. My Aunt Ruby was relentless. She insisted on teaching me etiquette. She said, "Someday you're going to dine with the President of the United States." Well, little did she know that 14 years later, I would be dining with President Bush Sr. Be careful what you say to your children, because they will embody everything that you say to them. Likewise, be careful what you say to your employees, because they will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I came to California Bank and Trust to lead a transformation in a major division of the company. 4 years ago, we started with a 3% pre-tax profit. A year later, we went from 3% to 10% pre-tax improvement year over year. We went from that to 24%, and last year we realized a 37% pre-tax profit improvement. We became a best-in-class turnaround in the world, according to the Corporate Executive Board. They do research in banks around the world. They did a case study. So what is it that cost us to be a case study? Values. We hire people based on values. We get customers in based on values. I have been known to walk customers across to another bank because they didn't align with our value system. We also reach out to the community based on values. This is our mantra. We build trust and value in relationships for generations. 4 weeks ago in New York City, I was honored to be invited to be part of the top 50 most powerful Latinas in the United States by Fortune magazine. Thank you. So they wined us and dined us in New York City, and at the end of the day, Patty Sellers, and I'm laughing because I remembered her name, Patty Sellers, the executive director for Fortune's Top 50 around the world, she said to us, "So you're on the list, so what? Now what? What are you going to do with what you've got?" So I raised my hand and I said, well, I met with all of the top 50 from California, and we've got an appointment. We're going to be having lunch together, and we're going to align with under a common values and common purpose, and we're going to make a difference. And then as soon as I said that, somebody else stood up and said, well, we could do the same in Atlanta. And I looked at it. I thought, well, yes, exactly. That is exactly what I wanted to inspire for all of us to do the same. It was at that moment that I figured, you know, we women don't always work really well together. Let's face it, we don't. And one-upping is just not a good value. It's about collaboration. It's not about competition. It's no longer about competing against, you name it, men or women or anyone else for that matter. Look in the mirror. This is your competition. It's about competing against ourselves, not anyone else. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to bring a new client to the bank. This client was a big client. They had 100 locations around California. And so the bank where I was working at, we didn't have enough branches that were close to this person's business. So I called someone. I called Brian. Brian worked at another company, at another bank. And I said, let's bring this customer in together. So guess what we did? We did some due diligence and we matched our branches and his branches to this customer. And guess what? We brought the customer in together. Why couldn't we do that? Why couldn't all of us join forces? It's about finding the yin to your yang. As my mother used to say, it's about el concavo y convexo, the concave and convex. It's about locking arms and walking together with a common purpose and common values to make a difference for other people. That's what it's about. And it's no longer about the women's movement. It has to be about finding a common purpose, finding a common group of people that has a common purpose with common values, and we have an opportunity to really make a difference. So now I say to you, here we are. You're here at the Los Angeles Business Journal's Women's Summit. So what? Now what? What are you going to do with what you've got? I want you to think for a moment and center yourself on why you're here. What was your higher purpose? Why did you start your business? Why did you enter into your company in the first place? Why did you go into your industry in the first place? Talk is cheap. It's your actions that will tell you what your values really are. Earlier, I asked you what your values would be. Guess what? Look at your calendar. Think about what's on your calendar, because that's exactly what is going to show what your true values are. Here in Southern California, we're a group of people right here in this room. We have an opportunity to join forces and really make an impact for somebody's life and the whole trajectory of their life. So I'm going to give you 3 things, very simple things that you can actually do. Today, find 4 people that you have a common value with and schedule to have a lunch with them in a couple of weeks. Or you can find one person that you know, that you can see that you can actually add value to them. Or you've heard these wonderful speakers this morning. Invite one of them to come to your company and help you become a better leader, help your team become a better leader. You could do, if you do nothing, do one thing. Think about the world that we're in. And think about the impact that we can all make if we give selflessly, if we give abundantly, courageously, without fear. This world would be a better place. Play with values. Thank you.
Amazing, thank you.
Hi, I'm Rick Franzi, CEO and founder of Critical Mass for Business. Today I'm here at the LA Business Journal's Women's Summit. I was invited by my good friend Dr. Betty Uribe. I had the opportunity to hear her speak today on values in business, and it was truly touching. This whole environment, 1,000 women in the greater Los Angeles area who are entrepreneurs, creating jobs and building businesses that are successful and profitable, leading with their heart, is an inspiring way to spend a Friday morning in Southern California. I personally work with a number of women entrepreneurs in Orange County and LA County, and I find them to be driven, goal-oriented, while also keeping in mind there's a life outside of business, and to make sure that they bring balance not only for themselves, but probably more importantly for the people who work for them. And so to be here today and be a guest of Dr. Betty Uribe has been a pleasure and an inspiring way to spend a morning.
My name is Sabrina Garba, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Glass Ladder Group.
And I'm Caitlin Magentel. I'm the founder and CEO of Pulp Pantry.
So the values speech was excellent. I mean, it really wrapped up how values can build a thread throughout your whole life and can impact the path that you go on. And it was really incredible to see how she weaved her life experiences and also the experiences in the professional environment together to give us a really inspirational talk.
There were many business leaders here today, and many were nominated for different things, but some of the things that we looked at were their growth, the trajectory in their business, how they grew their business, how they made a difference in their community, and how they created jobs in our community. To see the women come up to the podium completely surprised and be so humble about what they were doing or what they had done in their business, to me it was very pleasurable. And as we looked around the table and our table that we were sitting at and took a look at these women, it was just such an amazing feeling to see that they were palpable right there. They were humble, and yet they were managing and running multi-million-dollar companies, very, very powerful, and yet they were willing to share out of abundance again, and not out of scarcity. So it was wonderful.